we get asked a lot about high ticket sales in the online fitness space because we are against them, I would say, or at least we're against them in the way that they are currently taught, the system that is currently recommended, we think is the result of a bit of a 2020 bubble. I think during 2020, when the world locked down, online coaching became incredibly popular. A lot of people were doing it. A lot of clients were buying it. And so that when the supply and demand curves move in that way, you can kind of get away with charging basically whatever you want because there is no alternative anymore, right? I can't go to a gym. I can't see a personal trainer. A lot of software companies went out of business. There wasn't anything new being launched. And yeah, that's how high ticket was kind of born. A lot of mentors started in that time. And what they taught was, look, like, get leads organically, get them on a sales call and sell to them. They're being told to do high ticket sales for their online fitness business. And in this video, I'm going to try and convince you why you shouldn't be doing it. I'm going to try and convince you why our way of doing it is better and how you can still have a high ticket offer, just not sold in the way that you're selling it. So everyone is told by other mentors right now, and some of them are backtracking, which is interesting, but most of them are still saying, sell high ticket, increase your price, add a zero to what you're charging. It's in the like $2,000 to $3,000 range at the high end. Some people charge more than that if they're going after sort of health conditions or very sort of painful situations, but in the like 1.5 to 3K pounds. So convert that into whatever your currency is. And usually the way that the system that is attached to that is make noise on social media, grow your followers, try to convert some of that attention into a DM conversation, and then take those DM conversations into a sales call. That's usually what a lot of people are doing. Certainly when people come to us, that's kind of the model. They've usually paid like $5,000 to learn, honestly. And it sounds great because it sounds really simple until you actually run the numbers and look at the reality of it. Why does this exist in the first place? If you look at the fitness industry, look at, imagine you want to lose 5 kilos, right? And you're looking to buy a solution to that problem. You've tried on your own and you can't. And there's loads of typos in this document, or grammar errors, I should say. Let me fix them. You're trying to fix it. So you're trying to buy a solution, and you look at what the solutions are. So either you have an information deficiency, so you don't know what to do, or you know what to do, but you can't stick to it on your own. Those are basically the two things. If you don't know what to do, you can go and watch hours of YouTube content and find out what to do, assuming you're the sort of person that won't struggle to stick to something. If you know what to do but you can't do it, probably the best thing to do with that is like go see a personal trainer in a gym, right? And that might cost you £50 to £100 an hour, so like a couple £100 a month usually in that region. And so high ticket in that, like, take all of that, that's the backdrop, that's what we're selling into, right? That's our market. Those are the alternatives. Those are the competitor goods when we're packaging something online. Now, online can be, and often is, much better than what you get in face-to-face. A lot of people might get upset with that, but you can add someone into a community where they have group accountability, not just individual accountability. You can add somebody into a membership portal where they're learning loads of stuff. It's often cheaper and more affordable when done correctly than working with a really good trainer in person. And there's also loads of apps out there that are $10, $20 a month. There are huge influencers with huge followings that are selling ebooks that are extremely expensive, selling apps inexpensive, selling apps that are extremely inexpensive. That's the market. And selling high ticket, selling something that's $2,000 in that market is tough, right? Because it's a lot more expensive than the market. High ticket exists, in my opinion, in the first place because coaches look at their online business and they think, well, I just haven't got enough leads, right? I don't have enough leads. I don't have enough interest. You hear phrases like, if I could just get more eyeballs on what I was doing, I would scale it, right? People say stuff like that. And so they think that that's a content problem or a copy problem, but actually it's a sales conversion problem. I'll get onto that in a second. The only problem your business has right now, if you aren't financially where you want to be, is that you cannot sell to a stranger reliably and repeatably. That's it. Because if you could, and you could do that in a way where the numbers made sense, you would just be doing that. You can get leads on social media for £2 a lead, right? So if you can do that, then why are you struggling for leads? You're struggling for leads because of what happens to those leads, because those leads don't turn into customers, because you can spend £200 in ads and get 100 leads and none of them buy from you. So you just spent £200. If you spent £200 on ads and made 300, you wouldn't need leads again. If you feel like you haven't got enough leads or you haven't got enough leads because everything's organic, the only way to grow revenue is to raise your price, right? That's the only thing you can do. So if I get 3 inquiries a month and I want to make $2,000 a month, I need to do everything I possibly can to sell one of those people into my program at $2,000. And what all the other mentors are teaching you is basically that. The only lever they can pull, unless you become famous, right? You're not going to get more leads by just doing that. You're not going to suddenly get 1,000 inquiries. And so the only lever you can pull, the only thing you can change is price, right? So high ticket therefore becomes a band-aid for the lead generation problem that a lot of people have, or for the sales problem that a lot of people have. So if you can't get 100 buyers, you try to squeeze the 10 buyers that you get for more money. And that works short term. It gives the mentor that taught you it a great testimonial, but it breaks long term. We also need to think about what high ticket actually means, right? Because $3,000 is high ticket for coaching, but if you got a car for $3,000, it's a bargain, right? So it's just with respect to the market average, what I was saying just before. High ticket means it's expensive compared to the other things that I could buy that might solve a similar problem. And because it's expensive relative to the market, everyone is thinking, well, why would I work with you when I can work with this influencer for $20 a month on their app? Why would I work with you when I could go see a coach in person for £50, £100, whatever? It's expensive. You have to sell it emotionally. You have to dig into pain points. You have to dig into aspirations. You have to really sell this like big transformation, high expectations, deliver a ton of your time. And because of that, it always requires a sales call, because no one is impulse buying $3,000 thing on a landing page ever. I don't care how good of a copywriter you aren't getting that to work. There is a place for high ticket, but not in the way that it is currently done. So why do mentors push it? Mentors push it because they say charge more, because what they are doing to sell their mentoring is they're probably running a VSL call funnel. So they're running ads to a short video, to book a call, to sell a $10,000 or so package. And that's working for them most likely. And so they think, well, I'll just teach that to everyone else. It's all online, right? What's the difference? It's different in so many ways. That is a B2B funnel, business to business funnel. It's a business to business price, and it's a business to business sales mechanism. If I'm about to entrust my business with someone, my livelihood, how I pay my bills, how I support my family, I want to speak to the person, right? I want to make sure it is absolutely right for my business. We have tried selling Propane Business without a sales call. We made sales without sales calls using the same system that we teach clients, but the wrong people bought it because we needed an application-based system. And we also needed the people who bought from us to have all of their questions answered so that they were buying the right thing, right? And so a sales call in a business context, I think really is needed. It's required. I think without it, you end up getting the wrong people working with you. Business to consumer is different, right? If I'm buying a fitness program or anything as a consumer, I'm not really used to getting on a call, right? I'm used to buying it on my phone. I'm used to one-click purchase. I'm used to buying with Face ID. I'm not used to getting home from work. Kids are in bed, and I'm like, oh, better jump on this Zoom call for this mentor to sell me, with this fitness coach, to sell me my online fitness program. It's just weird. So calls and large investments, they make sense for business ROI-based discussions, but because it's relative to market averages, in fitness, $3,000 is like enterprise level pricing. It's the same as a business mentor selling their their business mentoring for like $100,000. None of them are doing that, obviously, because it's too expensive for the market average. As trust decreases, which is what's happening in the industry right now, price elasticity increases, which basically just means for every rise in price, there is a more than proportional drop in demand. So why aren't you selling your fitness coaching online for $10,000? Well, you would probably feel like you wouldn't sell any, right? And that is a sliding scale that even in the $2,000 to $3,000 range, the 997s, the £1,500, still you're going to be struggling with demand, especially as trust decreases. So your audience just gets smaller and smaller every time you push your price up because fewer people can buy. There's more emotional selling. There's more sales calls. There's more fatigue. There's more people just going back to the gym floor. The consumer reality right now is that Google shows us that we now need more touch points than ever before somebody makes a buying decision. So that means they need to see you, hear you, and trust you from those interactions several times, 20 times or more, before they consider buying from you. And yes, organic can create those touch points, but it's random, right? We don't have control over somebody's journey. They're just occasionally seeing posts and occasionally seeing stories, and it doesn't produce a pipeline of buyers. So you can't rely on this random luck that comes from organic for consistent trust building. You need ads, and you need a funnel that generates that trust, that generates those trust points reliably and repeatedly. With ads, a 1 to 2 sales day window is too short, which is what a lot of people try and do. They run ads to a landing page, to a call, or ads to a DM, to a call, or something like that. People need a funnel to go through. They need content to go through. They need time to warm up. And high ticket funnels, the ones that most coaches are teaching you, don't work for that. They expect quick calls and instant closes. The next problem with all of this is the sales bottleneck, right? If you're charging 2 to 3K, you're in the higher end of the fitness space. You're charging you have a very expensive online fitness program relative to the rest of the market. But even with that in mind, you will never hire a good sales rep. You'll never hire a good closer, because the best closers in the industry are selling 5 to 15 to 25K packages for other B2B businesses or SaaS businesses. Your deal just isn't worth their time. It isn't worth a commission. So who's doing the calls? You are, forever, right? Now you're back to back on Zoom instead of coaching people. And if a client pays you $3,000, they probably expect to work with you, right? Not your junior coach, which means you can't scale delivery. And when they finish, retaining that person's tough, because they've already paid a ton to work with you as far as they're concerned. And so continuation is often a downgrade, right? It's very difficult to sell that $3,000 thing again. So you end up just downselling them into a recurring thing anyway, but still giving them a ton of your time. The simple maths of it, if you imagine you have a $2,000 package, for example, and your cost per call with ads is 150 quid, your show rate is 55%, your close rate is 20%, and you collect around 60% up front when you account for payment plans. Those are really good numbers, by the way. To make one sale, you need 5 calls, you need 5 live calls, you need 9 booked calls, 350 in ad spend. You collect 1,200, so you're negative 150 on the front end on day one, and you have £800 to collect in payment plans. So for the first month, you're working for free, right? Those are really, really good numbers. That's if you're good at media buying, you have a really good funnel, your sales operations are good, your close rate's good, and you do a good job at not defaulting payment plans as a way to sort of mitigate uncertainty and risk. The human cost of all of it is, even if you scale this up, 5 to 6 calls a day, 50% of them no-show, you have a setter maybe setting those calls for you, they are going to burn out or leave. You being the closer, or even if you hire a closer, they'll burn out, they'll leave because the comms are so low, the commissions are so low. You'll burn out, your diary runs you, and you're just chasing this like revenue dragon instead of clients. So people try and make it work organically to mitigate the costs. So they pivot to content, they're posting, they're engaging, but then you're a content manager, you're trading time for leads, and it's very unpredictable. You'll never fill a calendar like that. And we hear all the time like, oh, I've had 3 calls this month, right? And you're glued to your phone. Have I convinced you yet to not do this? Hopefully I have. The better model is what we do. Obviously I think that, but here's why, right? It's the mid-ticket recurring model as your core offering with an upgrade funnel attached to the back of it. So you have this core thing, which is community-based, which is sold via an automated funnel. It's £100 to £150 or $150 a month recurring. And it's group-based, it's semi-automated, and it's all built around community accountability, group accountability. That's your defense against AI. That is the thing that is going to still be here in 2029, right? Everything else, all the one-to-one coaching will have vanished, in my opinion. If you have 100 clients, that's 10 to 15K per month recurring. And your cost to acquire a customer, assuming everything's tuned, is around £40 to £60 per sale. So if you spend £60 a sale to make a £100 sale, you're still profitable on the front end, but there's no sales call. I know it's only £40 or $40, but there's no sales call, there's no DMs, right? It's way more efficient. The benefit in a funnel like this is the compounding, it's the retention. So yes, I spend 60, I make 100. I've made £40 profit month 1, but in month 2, they pay £100 again. Month 3, they pay £100 again. And I can keep doing that. I'm pouring fuel in the fire, and the funnel is building my membership base, and I can keep growing it. When I do one coaching call in that community, it serves 100 people, not one. When I build one automation that does the selling, it's replacing literally 100 DMs. Okay, so there's a ton of leverage being created with something like this. And predictable ads, once you know what your cost per lead needs to be, you get predictable growth. If you have a £100 a month program, this is just the rough maths, right? If you have a £100 a month program, you spend 500 ads, you get 250 leads, you get 12 sales, you get 1,200 in day one cash. That's a really good version of it. This is everything kind of tuned and running well. If you assume with this that your churn is 2%, month to month. So if you have 100 clients, two cancel each month. Then month 1, 12 new clients, 1,200 revenue. Month 2, 12 new clients, 12 repeat customers, no one cancelled yet. 24 total, 2,400 revenue. Month 3, 12 new clients, 23 repeat customers with 1 cancellation, 35 total, 3,500 revenue. Month 4, you can start ascending some of those 35 people into a high ticket program. We have a lot of ways that we do that. It's too much to go into in one video, but that starts to then add, let's say you make 1 sale, you go from 3.5 to 5.5 because you made 1 sale. But that conversation is a 15-minute conversation with someone who's worked with you for 3 months, not speaking to a stranger. It works because lower friction, higher conversions, right? It's easier to sell someone something that is £100, especially if they've never heard of you before, than something that is £2,000. And it means you can sell to complete strangers, because once you have a funnel that takes stranger and turns them into a customer in 10 days, say, you all you need is new people, right? You don't need to say something new. You don't need to remake your content. You don't need to remake your funnel. You literally just need new people at £2 a lead over and over and over again. It's a shorter trust timeline because I need £100 of the trust, not £2,000 of the trust. So my cost per sale is cheaper. It's easier to automate because I don't need a sales call. I don't need DMs. And therefore it's easier to scale, and it builds community and an accountability flywheel. What I mean by that is, if I have 100 people in a group and someone posts a question, they'll get 30 answers. If someone posts a PB or a win or a progress photo, they'll get 50 likes. They'll get 50 comments. The check-ins are group-based. The calls are group-based. And this is just your mid-ticket thing. I'm not replacing your high-ticket offer. I know you still want to work with people one-to-one, most likely. I know that's where you get your best results. But if your business relies on that, it will eventually die. It will eventually fail. If you have a community-based program where people can try it for 6 months and then upgrade, or maybe they don't need your one-to-one service and this is more affordable for them, everything's smoother. Everything works better. The more people in your group, the better the group is, the better the client experience is, the more profitable the business is, the better your time is, because the people who've been in there for 6 months start coaching the people who just bought. The whole thing gets better. My closing thought is simply this. I think high ticket has had its moment. I think it's had its post-COVID moment, and I think it won't last much longer in the fitness space. I think for most coaches, the maths and the psychology of running it just simply don't work anymore. Unless you're extremely established, unless you've been doing it a very long time, unless your numbers are far better than what I've just described, in which case, why are you watching the video? But I'm sure you aren't. The future, in our view, is semi-automated. It is community. It is this mid-ticket recurring program with an upgrade funnel bolted to the back of it. And that's the model that we install with our coaches. We scale that model up to 30 clients in 12 weeks without DMs, without calls, with a system that we have battle tested literally 1,000+ times at this point. So if you want to find out more about that, if this has kind of piqued your interest and you're like, ooh, I'd like to learn a bit more about how this would specifically work, there's a link in the video below where I show you in about 12 minutes, so less time than this, exactly what it looks like, the numbers, the visuals, some examples of clients that are using it. And you can speak to us if you want to have that B2B conversation where we talk about what our program looks like, how much it costs, all that sort of stuff. So I hope this has been useful. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this. Let me know if you'd like, without the typos, let me know if you'd like, if there's certain topics you'd like me to cover. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments.